at it. So this one is about something going on with fuck, I forget the company. Was it Wizards of the Coast? With D&D, that apparently they're doing some kind of inclusivity insanity for Dungeons and Dragons. And it's done by Clownfish. So I always love hearing Geeky and Neon. I don't know. It's Hasbro's Wizards of the Coast. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I am curious. Like, I knew, like, D&D has already been going this route. Making, you know, like, doing the orcs looking like people, they're from Mexico, and, like, the whole thing, like, they're not doing, like, races anymore, or something like that. So I'm curious how they've gone even fucking further. Because they've already been going this route. So I'm really curious how they have gone even fucking further now. So, let's take a look.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And wow, this is crazy. So this is the beginning of the new year, and we feel really vindicated. So we're just going to strut a little bit. I know people hate it when we do that. Actually, no, most people don't hate it. The people who were wrong about us hate it. So this is yet another article talking about how silly Dungeons and Dragons has become lately.
Yes. Shocker.
It's become ridiculous. And I think what happened was there wasn't enough attention being paid to it because a lot of these media outlets agreed with the direction of Dungeons and Dragons going all quote unquote woke, going in on DEI.
Well, are we surprised? The biggest pusher of DEI is the fucking media. Literally, the whole concept of DEI is being fed by news media. That is what's kept the concept of this in, at the very minimum, popular media, such as, like, entertainments, such as tabletop RPG, video games, movies, etc., etc. The media is what has kept that ideology alive. Is popular media standing like fucking crazy for it, even if it basically ends up costing them their fucking jobs. So I'm not at all surprised that the media is eating this up and spewing it out as much as they possibly can. You know, I mean, this is literally the Family Guy meme where they're all like guzzling down Ipecac and then just immediately projectile vomiting all over the place. And then going, oh God, it hurts. And then as soon as it's done, they're going to go right back to.
And diversity and inclusion and kinder, gentler dark elves and orcs and all of that. And now that the media has seen just how ridiculous D&D has become, they're laughing at it.
I think the article the other day too.
New York Times.
The articles have been going on. I think that they also are bringing more awareness to the issues.
Yeah, and Elon Musk calling it out that brought, because people were like, "Wait, what's wrong with Dungeons and Dragons?" And they're like, "Oh, damn."
See all our videos.
Well, I wanted to bring that up because I'm like, here, if you go out to clownfishtv.com and you search for Wizards of the Coast, we can actually find the very first video that kicked off our journey into discovery of what D&D actually is.
Well, how far back do we have to go?
We have to go back on 4 years.
Because Neon was a dungeon master.
Yes. D&D was my identity for years. And
you're allowed to say that?
Can I say that? No, I love D&D. It was a huge part. I mean, there's so many videos out here. We've been covering it for years. And I'm a lapsed gamer.
Damn.
So I played D&D pretty much every weekend, me and my friends, from the time I was like 10 to...
Okay.
Dumb question. I don't know much about D&D, but how does WotC make money of a game that people just make up as you go?
Okay,
Cheer
Revan,
100.
I can answer this, but we do have some D&Ders in chats, a couple of them. But yes, like Zeb was saying, they are making their money by putting out source book after source book, making like fancy dice, making game mats, making dungeon master screens, figurines. I know like a lot of people that do D&D will have like actual like physical map layouts with like it's almost like Warhammer 40K grid setups, and you use figurines to plot it out. There's the video games too. It's just D&D has a lot of physical things. And so, and yes, they also have D&D Beyond, which is that is like you can, online stuff. I don't know if that's subscription based or not. But yeah, it's primarily books. Source books, game books, campaign books, there's a lot of books. And again, like I said, I don't know if their D&D Beyond is a subscription base to do something beyond more than it is a subscription base. Okay, I figured it probably would be Yard Dog, but I wasn't sure. Like as I said, like there are plenty of people in my chat that are into D&D. I'm not going to call out anybody just in case they do not wish me to call them out. But there's a couple people in our community. Okay, yes, it's Atamashi. I didn't want to call Atamashi. I didn't want to call you out if you didn't want me to call you out. And Mo's okay, you too. But yeah, like you guys are D&Ders, so you may have better insight into what they are about to talk about than I do. Okay, and you as well, Baby T-Biz, and you, Yard Dog, and you, Elwin. Okay, I got a lot of D&Ders in my chat, apparently. A lot of them.
Cheer 100. So, stray D&D group forming when?
There's been talk about doing that, Zeb. There's been talk about that. We may basically, that we may set up a D&D thing in the Discord. That is something we may look into doing. So, I gotta talk to Corey to see if there's anything special we might have to do for it. Like, talk to Corey and Atanashi and see if there's anything special that needs to be done for it. Maybe we'll set something up in the Discord. But you guys are going to have much better insight onto this than I am. I have played D&D, but it was a while ago. And the D&D I had access to was like OG D&D. And this was a long time ago. I never really got super into D&D. I was much more of my jam was more of Shadowrun and World of Darkness. Those two RPGs, those were my jam, not so much D&D. So I may be looking to you guys for some reference here on this. Just be aware, okay?
All through high school. I had different groups, both in Pennsylvania and California. And, we remember when we first got married, we had a ton of first and second edition books that were in very good condition because I didn't have grimy Cheeto fingers all over my books because I paid a lot of money for them. But I had pretty much everything.
Oh, really dry? Oh, really chummer? What did you run, Mose? What were you? Were you a mage? Were you a street Sam? Were you a rigger? Rigger! You were a rigger, big dog. You were? Mose, I usually would do I would do physical adept, I would do street Sam, or I would do mage. Those were the three that whenever I played, that was usually what I did. I was curious about being a decker, but the person who was my DM or my GM couldn't really get a handle on how to work the matrix. It was the matrix, wasn't it? They couldn't really figure out how to work out the matrix stuff. So nobody was ever a decker. Riggers we just didn't get a feel for, so it was typically like mage or street Sam I did tend to like my phys adepts. So, and did I try a shifter once? I may have tried a shifter once. Yeah, but it's fun.
Everything. I had pretty much every book that was published by TSR from, I would say, 83 on. I had a ton of stuff, modules, whatever. And yeah, so I was a lapsed gamer. I knew that D&D was getting kind of silly because of the Tumblr crowd or whatever. And I went to go play D&D with my kids. My kids wanted to learn tabletop gaming. And this is about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was shocked. I was shocked at what Dungeons and Dragons had become. And that was before.
That was when it just was starting to go.
That was when it was just starting to go off the rails. I knew the scene itself was kind of wild, but then they started to codify a lot of this nonsense in the actual rule books. And then the new rule book came out, and it was just ridiculous. And then we saw the how they handled the 50th anniversary of D&D by throwing the creators under the bus.
Yes, that's on brand.
You know,
Wait, how did they throw the creators under the bus? D&D people in chat. How did they throw the creators under the bus? I'm really fucking curious how they did this. Cause, well, what did he just say? What did he just say on this?
And it was just ridiculous. And then we saw the how they handled the 50th anniversary of D&D by
The shit. Wait, 50th anniversary of D&D. How did they do that? I like. There's something that's tickling the back of my mind. Yes. That was it, Alistair. Thank you. Like, it was in the back of my mind. I couldn't remember what it was they said. But yeah, they basically called all the gamers and all the original creators of old basically racists and shitty white people. That's right. I'm pretty sure it was a Clownfish video that I watched that they did this. Yeah, and Leo, I vaguely remember that too. That they if you wanted to play D&D, there was that, the open game license thing. You were Big Dog, what was I usually in World of Darkness? Well, I did Vampire, and I did Vampire, I did Mage to the Ascension, and Werewolf. In Vampire, I think I was Catif. I did like Catif, I've done Gangrel. I can't remember if I did Bruja or not. And I had like one campaign where I just like pulled off some serious shit. I also played a straight human. I also had a character that was a straight human that worked for the Nosferatu Prince of Chicago. And Ace thank you for 6 months of tier 1 and in fans. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having a good time. So yeah, my biggest character was a human that worked for the Nosferatu Prince of Chicago. That was my favorite character in Vampire. Although I did play Catif and Gangrel. And then, of course, I played, in Werewolf. One time I did like a Glasswalker, and what was the other? I think Wendigo. I think I did a Glasswalker, and I did a Wendigo, and I cannot remember which discipline I did in Mage, the Ascension. My GM would not let us play Black Spiral's Drowning Mouse. Unfortunately, we never got the end. Like, I wanted to try and do a White Howler. Try and, like, work that somehow, but I was not allowed to be a White Howler. And yes, Fiona is, I believe that is correct, Billy. So yeah, I did, the Shadowrun and OG World of Darkness, those were my jam.
By throwing the creators under the bus.
Yes, that's on brand.
And we're like, yeah, WotC's a terrible company. And now people aren't attacking us. You
better be careful. Pinkertons are going to show up.
The Pinkertons are going to show up. I got so much shit. I got so much hate for calling out WotC 4 or 5 years ago. And then it turned out after the OGL debacle, I'm like, these are not good people. This is not a good company. They're not consumer friendly. Why is everybody supporting them? Why are they standing for this company? And then I said, there are alternatives. There are different OSRs you can play. You can play other games. And I got so much hate for that, including the guy whose game I recommended
No,
And I'm
they're
not
not
going to utter his
Atanasi.
name because I don't want him to get any more backlash. He kind of quasi apologized, but not really. But yeah, so everybody went batshit on me, and now they're all turning against WotC
Because they
too.
keep, you're like, oh, they can't get any worse.
It can't
and
get
then
any
they
worse.
prove
Yes.
you wrong.
Correct, Baby Jesus. They accidentally gave a guy unreleased magic cards. WotC fucked up and sent a guy not yet released magic cards. Like, he didn't specifically order them. He just ordered packs of magic cards. They accidentally sent him not as of yet released ones. Their fuck up. They said, give it back. He said, now I paid for them. They're mine. I'm keeping them. And they sent the goddamn Pinkertons after him. Yeah. Oh, it was I mean, that's what Neon's talking about. That was the start of their seriously bad PR campaign.
Long at
And
every turn.
then the OGL debacle, I think, was a big one. I'm like, this is a corporation. They don't give a shit about
Then there's
your
the AI
feelings.
stuff.
The AI stuff.
I'm sorry,
that they lied.
when the campaign went to, college so you could, or some university, like a Hogwarts situation, or the coffee shop.
Oh my God.
Then it was
coffee
like,
shop
wait a
adventures,
minute. And now you can't be, they can't be
Strixhaven.
warlocks or witches anymore or something like it was, it's just been.
Wait, what are they talking about? The coffee shop? I'm confused. What are they talking about with Hogwarts Legacy and the coffee shop?
Or the coffee shop.
Oh my God.
Then it was like, wait a
adventures,
minute.
Does anybody have any context? I don't understand. Like, let me play that back again, what Kiki was talking about.
They don't give a shit about
Then there's
your
the
feelings.
AI stuff.
The AI stuff.
I'm sorry,
that they lied.
when the campaign went to, college so you could, or some university, like a Hogwarts situation, or the coffee shop.
Oh my God.
Then it was
shop
like, wait a
adventures,
minute. And now you can't be, they can't be warlocks or
Strixhaven.
witches anymore or something.
What, did they go to like a coffee shop or a college campus and say that they can't call the wizards or whatever of Hogwarts wizards or what the fuck? Wait, there's a pre-built campaign that takes place at a magic school. It's kind of neat, but I don't know about the coffee shop. They essentially did a real-life version of D&D, so they basically did a LARP. And they went full fucking cringe with it. Oh, so they did essentially a LARP of D&D, but you couldn't call the magic users warlocks or witches. Really? Am I understanding this correctly? That they were basically saying you can't call them warlocks or witches. Zeb, I'm thinking in it. No, warlock and witch is not a copyrighted term. You cannot copyright warlock and witch. That word predates D&D by about a couple thousand years. It's based on its view can be okay. You can be a barista in the campaigns based on okay. No, like your job in D&D was as a barista. Oh. Okay. Huh. Okay. I'm very confused about this, but okay.
Something like it was. It's just been insane.
It's so let's talk about this. It's very interesting. The media is now making fun of D&D too. We're used to it. We used to get made fun of back in the 80s, but for different reasons because we're all Satanists or something.
Absolutely.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to Clownfish.
Machinist, I'm gonna offer a rebuttal to your statement there. Nintendo proved you can copyright anything as a gaming industry in Japan. Don't forget, Nintendo's copyrights was in Japan, and Japan's copyright system very heavily favors corporations, particularly Nintendo. So that's different. There is a tremendous amount of difference there. And let's see, the controversy involving Wizards of the Coast and a coffee shop related to a specific incident in 2024 where a store was criticized for charging $300 for a store championship event. This was part of the Magic the Gathering program. I fail to see the problem. why were they criticized? Oh, were they charging $300 per entry for it? Is that what we're talking about? Like each person had to pay $300 for the entry? Okay, yeah, that's batshit crazy. Okay, yeah, that's fucking nuts. To ask Magic the Gathering players to pay $300 to enter a competition. Yeah, that's fucking insane. That's okay. I now I fully understand why they were, and I'm guessing that coffee shop was backed by Wizards of the Coast. Like Wizards of the Coast probably worked with this coffee shop, and Wizards of the Coast probably said we're gonna charge them $300. Okay, now I get it.
Minus.com. Support the Reef. Pick up some merch. Thank you very much. This comes from the Telegraph, who I'm not in the UK. People are telling me this is more of a right-leaning publication.
Real quick before you say that, you said about being like devil worshippers or anything. It's like, but it's still a purity test.
It's still a purity test, right?
then, but now it's a purity test now.
Exactly. And the irony in all this is that D&D was actually created by guys who were mostly Christian. Right, the demons were the bad guys. It's crazy. But
what did
is that D&D was actually created by guys who were mostly Christian. Right, the demons were the bad guys. It's crazy. But
now they just want to sleep with the demons because they're hot.
Now you just want to sleep with the demons.
I mean, not wrong. Again, like how many times have I said it? There is no such thing as bad guys or evil anymore. Just poor, misunderstood people that you have to look at it from their point of view, and there's no way they could ever be evil. Because they're trying to eliminate the concept of evil so they can indoctrinate the younger generation so they won't recognize evil when it actually is in their face.
Demons, right? And yeah, women were never involved in D&D either. Look at this. This is the very first D&D ad I ever saw. It used to be on the back of comic books. TSR. We got two women at the table. We got a woman leading the party. Yeah, women were never involved in D&D.
Hell, chat. The movies that they made that were explicitly anti-D&D, talking about like women are never playing D&D, they made two movies that I can think of that were like explicitly about Dungeons and Dragons, and they were anti-Dungeons and Dragons. One of them was that Tom Hanks movie, Mazes and Monsters, where they didn't reference Dungeons and Dragons by name, but it was blatantly obvious that the game they played was Dungeons and Dragons. And Void, thank you for the follow. That was very anti-DT, and there was a girl involved with their role-playing group. Like, she was a prominent character. That was like back in the 80s, I think it was. And there was another one in, early or mid-2000s. I cannot recall the name of this movie, but I saw it like in a review. I think it was Cinema Snob that did the review on this one. I forget the name of the movie, but this took place like the early to mid-2000s. Like either early 2000s or 2010s, where it was a couple girls going to college. It's so fucking hammy what they did. This was these two girls, they go to a college, and on their first night there as freshmen, they go to a party, and at this party, the D&Ders come out and are treated like fucking rock stars. They are coming out strutting like they're the RPers, and they're coming out strutting, and they're like the big badasses on campus. Like, I don't know, Hoseki. I don't know, but it's fucking hysterical that they're treating them like absolute badasses. They're literally just playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they're also saying, don't get involved with them. They're bad people because they play Dungeons and Dragons. And these two girls end up getting involved in the Dungeons and Dragons group, and they end up going, they start off as like tabletop RPing, and then they move on to LARPing, and they make this huge fucking deal like they're going to the next level by LARPing. And so they start LARPing, and one girl gets pissed off at her friend and tells her she should just go unalive herself, and the girl does. The girl literally unalives herself because her friend killed her in the LARP. Like, it was completely batshit insane. Holy anti-D&D, but it was so hilariously fucking stupid. You could only look at it as parody. I forget for the life of me what the movie was called. But like Cinema Snob did a review on it. I wish I could remember what it was. If you like watching his review is plenty. It was either Cinema Snob's review of it or Decker Shadow. I forget which. I'm pretty sure it was Cinema Snob. And no, it was not an episode of CSI. But it like that's the like I don't know how the hell I got him in the first place, but that's the kind of shit that the anti-D&Ders go after. Is they have to go so extreme with what they perceive people that play D&D do. No, it was not Nostalgia Critic. That I know for sure, Zeb. It was not Nostalgia Critic. That's what that's why I think it was Cinema Snob, because he's kind of part of Channel Awesome. But I'm pretty sure it was Cinema Snob who did it.
Ever. The Telegraph. Dungeons and Dragons heading to inclusive oblivion after removing racial differences. Again, I'm not knocking these guys, but you are like 5 years late to the party. Like literally, they just.
Okay. I'm not crazy. I thought that this was old. I thought that they had already done that. That's why I'm like, is this something new? Because this shit they talked about, yeah, like Neon said, a couple of years ago. I watched Geeky and Neon's reporting about this. So, yeah, they are very late to this party.
Figured this out, and they got like 400 comments on this. This is insane.
I played Rips Machinist.
They said they've been criticized for removing racial differences between its cast of orcs, elves, and dwarves. Go out to clownfishtv.com, punch in WotC, WOTC, Wizards of the Coast, and you will find a video where they ban certain words from play. Now, like slavery, fat, crazy.
Wait, Mose, they took away the negatives before. Now they're removing it. Now they're removing the bonuses. Wait. So what the fuck is the point of playing a different race in D&D? What is the point? They've completely removed the entire point of D&D at this point. The whole point of fucking D&D, of choosing a non-human character, is not only for the aesthetics, but because you're getting these little bonuses to, like, work within your party. The elf was typically the archer because they are more agile. The human was usually the warrior because they were a bit brawnier. The dwarf was also a warrior, but they were also smiths because that was a dwarf characteristic. They had bonuses for that. Like, what the fuck? Someone needs to start slapping the ever-living fuck out of the people at WotC and telling them, there's a reason why people play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's not just the cosmetic shit.
It goes on and on and on. And they're bringing up Stranger Things. I'm like, Stranger Things is the worst example to give of D&D because these kids were playing the original Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm pausing a lot. I'm sorry. Revan, what the fuck are you talking about? Taking away... Oh, it's like taking away a mage's magic. Okay. I missed that. Looking back and forth, I missed you the first part where you said it's like taking it away. I thought you were saying they actually did take away a mage's magic. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
That game no longer exists.
No.
It doesn't. Wizards of the Coast, the game's publisher, has also dropped a post-apocalyptic setting that features slavery as part of a drive to make the game more inclusive. That would be Dark Sun, which is one of my favorite campaign settings ever, and it will never come back, at least not as it was originally, because it did deal with slavery was a big part of that world, right? Players who are made uncomfortable by an event in the game can now shut it down at any moment.
Is that what the stupid X thing?
The stupid, yeah, which came from BDSM.
Gosh,
Like,
you know what?
Wait. Sorry, what? Yeah, first and foremost, they dropped Dark Sun. What the fuck? People love Dark Sun. Players who are made uncomfortable by an event in-game can now shut it down at any moment. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. They're talking about official group events, Atsunashi? So they're talking about like what's the word I'm looking for? I've lost the fucking word that I want to say. Like official games, not like personal private games of a group of friends or anything. That's what we're talking about, like officially sanctioned. That's the word I'm looking for. So they're talking about in officially sanctioned games. Okay, got it.
Right? Players who are made
Do you know, like,
uncomfortable by
Dragonlance?
an event in the game can now shut it down at any moment.
Is that what the stupid X thing?
The stupid, yeah, which came from BDSM.
Okay, someone tell me what they're referencing here about the stupid X thing that came from BDSM. Like, are they talking about St. Andrew's Cross? Like, did someone in an official game bust out a St. Andrew's Cross and somebody shit themselves over it? Is that like what they're holding up? I don't know. I'm
Shut it down at any moment.
Is that what the stupid X thing?
The stupid, yeah, which came from BDSM.
Gosh,
I'm sorry. I'm unaware of BDSM doing a holding your arms up in an X as a safe word. That's a new one for me. Like a safe word. You heard that? Okay, that's not one that I've heard of. I'm the only one I'm aware of is your typical one is the colors. Green means go, yellow means I'm uncomfortable, red means shut it down. And and if you are incapable of verbalizing, you have an agreed upon like tune that you will hum if you are gagged. Like you'll hum happy birthday or something as a safe word if you are gagged. Like putting your arms in, like making an X with your arms, I've never heard of that. That's not like BDSM, you're typically tied the fuck up. How can you make a cross with an X with your arms if your hands are tied behind your back? That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, Alan. Have a good night, and thanks for coming to the stream.
If
know
your
what?
arms are tied, how do you
no, here's the, I know.
Neon, I'm gonna need red for that brain cell you just borrowed. I say it here, they say it in the video.
Here's what gets me. So you're how far into a campaign? It's almost done. You spent hours. And then some little shit decides, I don't like that pronoun or whatever, and then they make the X sound and ruin the entire game.
Yeah.
The cargo. First time? Chat, I think McCargo might needs to be reminded of exactly things that have been discussed upon in this chat.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
It's like, how hard is it to just
Or
be?
otherkin.
I mean, look, if you're not comfortable with, like, if somebody who's playing with you was a victim of assault or something like that, just being a decent human being, you probably don't want to play a campaign that would include that.
No,
Right.
Leo.
If somebody lost a child, you probably don't want to include child death in the campaign. I mean, that's just being a decent human being, right? But no, apparently we gotta have. I mean, the only way I could see
Bible?
this having
Maybe.
any
You might be right there.
relevance is perhaps if you're playing at a convention or something with strangers, right? I mean, maybe, but it's stupid to have to do this. And they put it in the books. Announcing the change of the rules, which replaced race with species, WotC said.
So this is in the books. They said that this is in the books now. And like Neon, like I think because it's in the books, there's a question of whether or not this is like an official thing, even if it's outside of an officially sanctioned game. You found a PDF of Dark Sun. WotC can drop Dark Sun out. They're like, oh yeah, Tornado. They're all on the internet. Every single RPG rulebook is on the internet. You can find it. So yeah, hell, absolutely.
That race is a problematic term that has prejudiced links between real-world people and the fantasy peoples of D&D worlds.
Wait, fucking wait. They replaced race with species because they got triggered by the word race. Okay, WotC, you still need to basically go to a secluded cabin in the middle of nowhere and don't ever speak to another human being again. You go create your little fucking commune out in the middle of nowhere where you will never have to speak to another human being in all of society ever again. Because that is the only fucking way that you're not going to get triggered by the tiniest little fucking thing. Like the word race that exists for a reason, and it's not in a negative context. Race as a word has existed for centuries, and it's not in a negative way. It's a means of defining something. If the people of WotC cannot handle this, they need to exit society, because they obviously can't handle it. They're so fucking snowflaked that this triggers them, which means you no longer can function in society. Good day. Find yourself a commune in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to ever see you again. Okay? You're a bunch of piss babies that probably need to wear diapers on a daily basis. You should not be running this company.
Of D&D worlds.
They're not real.
Oh, for God's sake. To start a game, players must choose their avatar from a range including halflings, humans, gnomes, and dragonborn, and humanoid species sent from dragons. Before the 2024 update, each class came with boosts to different attributes, as they would, because even though they are
race, can't
humanoid,
watch NASCAR.
Walls.
and they're human adjacent, they are very much different races, right? They're different. They have different, historically, and I guess this has been thrown out the window too. Like dwarves were not good with magic. They just weren't. It wasn't in there, but they were great fighters. They were pretty okay thieves, but they had their strengths. They were stronger than elves. Elves were frail, but they were good at magic. So it gave you an advantage. Or you could be a human, which was kind of like middle of the road. They could be an okay fighter or an okay mage, but they wouldn't, really excel at those things. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there really is nothing wrong with that.
No,
We're not talking like
if I would not be surprised if someone in their little bullshit brainstorming session probably did say, can't we just change it to ethnicity? Like someone probably legitimately, unironically suggested that in their brainstorming session when they came up with this change. And I do not doubt that for a second.
Oh, these are black people. These are Hispanic people. These are Asian people. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They bring it up. They said, yeah.
Destroying individuality through inclusivity. Cheer 100.
Yeah. J10, yes. That's exactly it. They preach diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they don't actually want that. They want segregation. They 100% DEI champions segregation. Because think about it. Everything DEI is you have to have this ethnicity or this gender or this sexuality or this gender identity. You must have that. We must have X amount of this ethnicity or this gender. No, it's segregation because of what I was just saying. Where industries like you have to hire on. I'm going to throw out a completely bullshit number and ethnicity. Okay? This is a bullshit number just for example purposes. You have to hire 14 Latino females. And make them all men. That's fucking segregation. Okay? That's basically saying, you have to hire X amount of this specific gender and ethnicity to put in this department. It's segregation, and as I've seen many people commenting in my YouTube channels, videos, this is affirmative action 2.0, which has already been proven 3 decades ago that it doesn't fucking work. That affirmative action is actually harmful to businesses, not helpful. This is literally affirmative action 2.0 electric boogaloo. We're worse, and we suck even harder.
The hardy hill dwarf enjoyed a +2 lift to Constitution, something that could help them as they navigate the game's map of enemies and challenges.
Yeah, I heard they
Under the
removed
new rules, the hill
the
dwarf is not
half-breeds.
naturally tough and can instead come from 2 different backgrounds, a miner or a scholar. The shift follows...
The dwarves aren't who I think of scholarly.
No. No, they're meatheads. They like gold, but they're meatheads. They're tough. I mean...
I like gold. 2 points for anybody who gets that reference.
Because look, these D&D at first was a mashup of traditional wargaming and also bootleg Tolkien.
Good, Alistair.
Yeah, pretty
the
much.
dwarves and the halflings were hobbits, and they were basically just lifted directly from Tolkien. And in the books, of course, now it's probably problematic, but in the books, dwarves fought and they mined, and elves were highfalutin, and they did magic, right?
I love this. All the species are becoming humans with decorations.
That is
one D&D veteran.
Yeah, that is accurate. That's accurate. There's no difference. There's no reason
He's
to play
exactly right.
another race if they're all the same.
The same, right.
So yeah, they're bringing up in the forward, Dungeons & Dragons historian John Pearson notes a virtual catalog of insensitive and derogatory language in the original 74 game, including words that are casually hurtful to anyone with a physical or mental disability or who happens to be old, fat, not conventionally attractive, indigenous, black, or a woman.
What? Okay, someone needs to tell me exactly what insensitive and derogatory language was in...
I can't believe so many people lost their life to stop segregation, and now black, white, and so many others and gone back to this happy, WHF.
Yeah, Xanax, yeah. And, they are projecting. That's just it. I do not know what the fuck they're talking about. Words that are harmful to anyone with a physical mental disability who happen to be old, fat, or not conventionally attractive, indigenous, black, or a woman. What language was used in the original 1974 game that said this? No, Mose, I didn't think there was. I fully expected there wasn't. So what the fuck are they talking about? What in the holiest of fucks are they talking about with this shit? Or are they, as I suspect they are, lying? They're fucking lying to try and say, look, we're on the right side of history because this happened and it's a fucking lie. Just so they can push their fucking agenda.
Well, I'm several of those things now.
Oh, wait, they jumped. Hang on, I want to read the rest of that. He added, it's an unfortunate fact that women seldom appear in the original D&D, and when they do, they're usually portrayed disrespectfully. Sorry, what? I'm sorry, fucking what?
I am back at the computer. How dare you quote Austin Powers at me? Cheer 100.
Bagelsworth, I'm just getting started. Their communities be queers, but they use like moron of things. But no, calling someone a moron, fucking, I do that on a daily goddamn basis. Okay, calling someone a moron is nothing. Shadows, it's not even gaslighting. This is just flat out fucking lying. Okay, women seldom appear in the original D&D. Cite your fucking source, motherfucker. Scholars of the original D&D, I know there's a couple of you in my chat. I'm guessing there's probably more than a few women that appear in OG D&D. Yeah. Yeah, Geronimo's, I was going to bring up Dragonlance. Like, some of the most popular characters in Dragonlance are women. Slavery appears in the original D&D not as a human tragedy that's devastated generations over centuries, but as a commercial transaction. For fuck's sake, it's a medieval setting. Whoever is speaking these words, which I'm guessing is, John Peterson, does he not understand that this takes place in a medieval setting? Medieval. Slavery was a commercial transaction in medieval times. That is just facts, motherfucker. And if you can't handle facts, go join WotC in the commune away from fucking society. For God's sake, these are people that cannot handle, like, reality. They literally can't handle reality. Reality is too much for them. She also takes aim at cultural appropriation, including a gods, demigods, and heroes range rating where players expected to fight Vishnu, one of the principal deities of Hinduism, kill him, and loot his +3 sword of They never put actual religion, like real-life religious figures into D&D. They were all fictional in nature. Holy fuck, is this guy triggered? He wasn't saying that players actually fought Vishnu. It's like that were players, because he was talking about the gods, demigods, and heroes range. Like he was being facetious. Like, are gods, were players expected to fight against Vishnu? When, equating the fictional gods in D&D like they're fighting actual religious symbols in real life. Yeah. They're mad because you as your characters may be fighting a god. And people are religious, so this might be offensive that you fight a god. That's his fucking logic. That's his completely brain dead, mouth breathing, drooling, uncontrollable opinion. This man has no brain. He is brainless. He does not know what in the fuck he's talking about. He's literally just spewing activism with 0 facts behind it. None. There are 0 facts behind anything that he's quoted as saying. Oh, no, Alistair, he has no brain. You're right that he doesn't have a dick. He probably, got surgery to have it inverted, is my guess. But he has no brain. Critics argued the foreword unfairly smeared the game's creator, fuck yes, who died in 2008 as a misogynist racist. Fuck yeah, it's unfairly smearing him. Fuck yes! And urged Hasbro, which owns WotC, to burn in hell. I'm not an Elon Musk fan by any stretch, but I'll back that. I'll fucking back that right there. If they're gonna smear Gary Gygax, I will be 100% be behind Elon's telling Hasbro and WotC to go burn in fucking hell. Right before I say go fuck yourself.
Cheer 100. Here comes Thor from the top ropes.
Don't undersell me, Rygat. Sith me. See, he wrote on X, nobody, and I mean nobody, gets to trash Gary Gygax and the geniuses who created Dungeons and Dragons. What the fuck is wrong with Hasbro and WotC? A lot. Robert Kuhn's the last surviving member of the team that created D&D, with Gygax called the publisher snakes. Yeah, WotC and Hasbro are loaded with SJAs, and their company is dead. I really would love to know how many people are playing their modern iteration of D&D versus saying, fuck that shit, I'm sticking with whatever gen D&D was back when it was still good. D&Ders in chat, you can tell me what edition of D&D you guys actually play that's actually so good.
To be old, fat, not conventionally attractive, indigenous, black, or a woman.
Well, I'm several of those things, and I wasn't mad. I'm several, and I didn't care.
You have red hair, you're basically black. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Same thing. Ask Hollywood.
It's unfortunate that women seldom appear in the original D&D, and when they do, they're usually portrayed disrespectfully.
Well,
yeah, Dragonlance, right? Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Woman co-created Dragonlance. You know, good, strong female characters. Anyway.
yeah, woman co-created Dragonlance, and some of the most popular. Fucking Kitiara. Kitiara is considered one of the most popular characters from Dragonlance. That's a woman. That's a fucking woman. Okay? Fuck, I forget. It's been a long time since that. Like, I know Tanis. I know, Tasselhoff. I know Flint. Cameron and Raistlin. I fucking love Raistlin. Yeah, well, yeah, she was quote-unquote evil. Uh-huh. Cortanus. Nice. Who is it? Who is the barbarian queen? Fuck, what was her name? The barbarian queen with the blue star staff. Fuck, what was her name? Chat, what was her name? D&D, help me. D&D, you're Goldmoon. Thank you, Lavo. Yes, Goldmoon. Yeah, you're Goldmoon, the barbarian fucking queen. Yeah, I guess. Eh. Fuck you, WotC. Just fuck you.
He also takes aim at cultural appropriation, including a gods, demigods, and heroes range, writing
Is that what it
where
is,
players
Cortanus?
expected to fight Vishnu. This is from the New York Times article. Okay, so they're going through the whole thing, and it's like, come on, this is like nitpicky bullshit. It talks about Elon Musk telling WotC to burn in hell.
Okay. Hang on. Confirmed that they had hired inclusivity consultants for the making of original D&D. In May 2024, game designers said the consultants had helped identify language we would not use today in gaming. I got a question. Jason Tonto. These consultants that you hired, are they gamers? The consultants that you hired for your game, do they actually play your fucking game? Or are they gamers? The answer is no. Okay, I'll just tell you that right now. The answer is fucking no. They're not. They're a bunch of fucking activists that are all about gaslighting and thought control. That's who they hire. For many of today's players, the road comes down to not to race, but to the nature of the game. The restrictions inherent in the old races were what made the game challenging and created a sense of risk. Yeah. One user wrote on the feels like everything is focus grouped into inclusive oblivion. That is. Or one of the consultants. Yeah. Races and classes in a fantasy make-believe role-playing game are gradually being reduced to aesthetics. Yes, they have. The demonstrification of things like goblins and orcs is also privacy. Not everything has to be a morally gray soup. Some things can just be inherently evil, and that's okay. That's what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They're trying to remove the concept of evil. These DEI SJA Act fucksticks and trying to remove the concept of evil in popular media. For one very simple reason. They're doing it to try and indoctrinate the next generation that are playing these games, watching these movies, etc., and instill the idea in them that there is no such thing as actually being evil. You're just misunderstood. So that way, as they grow up and have this ideology instilled in them, they will not be able to recognize evil when it's right in their face. It's the indoctrination of a slave race, basically. Yeah, that might be pushing a little bit too far, but it's the indoctrination of basically a zombie generation, where these people can do whatever the fuck they want to them because this generation is not gonna have a concept of what evil is and doesn't realize that what you as an evil person is doing is evil. That's what the DEI and SJAs are trying to do.
Gary Gygax has been demonized for years. Again, you are late, mainstream media. You are so late to the party, right? They've been demonizing Gary Gygax for probably 15 years now. If they could detach the Gygax name from Dungeons and Dragons entirely, they would do
They
it.
had the people that were running Gen Con. They weren't even pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, they couldn't even pronounce his name. He started the fucking convention. They couldn't even pronounce his name. I'm like, so they have no... That'd be like working for the Disney company and being like, yeah, so this Disney guy.
Yeah,
this Disney
guy. We don't want
guy,
to talk about Disney.
We don't talk about Disney anymore.
So if anybody here comes and talks about Disney, make sure they're banned.
Yeah, we're going to kick you out of our safe space.
Jesus.
They make me feel icky.
Morally gray soup, right? For many of today's players, the fight comes down to not race, but the nature of the game. That's true. The restrictions inherent to the old races were what made the game challenging and created
Those, I know of two of them. I know of two drow that are not evil. Drizzt and I forget her name, but it was I think it was a drow priestess that basically wept the way of Drizzt and escaped from the Underdark and teamed up with a human berserker and thank you, yes. Saray of Lurar, correct. Or is it Lyriel? Yeah, not Leo, not Saray. I'm thinking of Lyriel. That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah, Lyriel. You misspelled Drizzt. You misspelled Dritz's name. Elwyn, you could say that, but he wasn't evil in the context that he didn't treat Drizzt like shit. Whether or not he can be considered, he may be neutral, I'd say.
a sense of risk. That is true. You had to kind of choose carefully. Actually, if you want to go old school, your character was determined by your dice roll, right? You didn't get to really pick anything. It was like you roll a character and this is what they were. And
this is
like
true.
You're a fighter because you can't allocate points somewhere else. It was like you rolled a 17 for strength and a 4 for intelligence. You're a meathead fighter. That's what you're stuck with.
Uh-huh.
One user wrote on Reddit, feels like everything is focus grouped into an inclusive oblivion. Races and classes in a fantasy make-believe role-playing game are gradually being reduced to aesthetics.
Yes.
This other one, the demonstrification of things like goblins and orcs is a travesty. Not everything has to be morally gray soup.
Yes.
Some things can just be evil, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, to that point, you can have a race in D&D that is evil, i.e. the drow, i.e. orcs, i.e. goblins, but you can have individual outliers, like Drizzt, like Lyriel, like one or two goblins or orcs that do not follow the lifestyle of their brethren. That is certainly a thing. And But WotC saying like, oh no, that none of them can be evil. Like, you can have evil races and have outliers who break from the pack and become good. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But there is a thing. There is a thing about good and evil. That's why they have the frickin' chaotic good, lawful good, chaotic neutral, true neutral, lawful neutral, chaotic evil, neutral evil. That, like, good and evil is actually in your character creation. And you actually gain experience points if you follow your alignment. Like, saying like, oh, there's no such thing as evil. Motherfucker, there's literally a good or evil alignment in your character generation. Okay? So please do not fuck with this about there's no such thing as evil. Fuck you, it's in your goddamn game.
Hollywood, take notes.
Okay, this is up for debate. I have heard people say that the new player's handbook is not selling well. Sales figures suggest that critics are in a minority. WotC executives told the New York Times.
Wait. The people who sell the shit told the news that they're selling it really well.
Are these the same kind of executives like that are talking about how Dragon Age Veilguard is selling like fucking gangbusters? Or that Rocksteady's Suicide Squad was selling their best game of the year? Is it these same kind of executives that are saying it's selling fan-fucking-tastic? Because if that's the case, cool. WotC may be going under faster than we realize, chat. If they're lying this much about selling the 2024 Player's Handbook, we may see them going belly up sooner than we thought. Drowning those? Talk to me, Damer. Talk to me.
He said the 2024 Player's Handbook is the fastest selling publication in company history.
But again, the people who make the book said it's the fastest selling. It's like Disney.
A clean-shaven orc, a magical girl orc, a manly elf, a goblin cleric, and a big halfling. Scarily enough, Alex, in today's society, I believe it. And that's not a good thing.
History.
But again, the people who make the book said it's the fastest selling. It's like Disney saying, Disney will tell you, oh, the numbers are great, but we're not going to show them to you.
Where'd you get that
People
from,
were
Moss?
looking at the book scan numbers and they were not great. And then
then maybe they're telling the truth and that's sad.
Well, they were looking at the book scan numbers. They were not great. And then they were like, oh, well, you can't get a complete picture from book scan. So if Hasbro says they're selling well, they must be selling well. I'm like, yeah, it's selling so well that they just preemptively laid a bunch of people off. And
Right. It's so great.
And fastest selling, yeah, it might be that a bunch of people pre-ordered it because 5e came out 10 years ago and it didn't take off right away. So,
yeah, that's like, so the source, trust me,
not
bro.
best selling, fastest selling.
Trust me, bro, says source.
Trust me, bro.
I love this. Wait, so now they're talking about the orcs. We talked about this before, and they somehow look like they're from Mexico.
I know,
they're
right?
a smiling family of nomads now, guys. They have children, elders, well cared for houses, and pet hawks.
Oh my god.
What? Why? Why? So, what? Okay. Hang on. I have a question. So which came first? Oh, yeah. Mr. Pigeon? That's what I was about to ask. What came first? The Rings of Power chicken or the 2024 D&D handbook egg? Which came first? Because I guarantee you one fed off the other. I will guarantee you one of them fed the other. If it was Rings of Power came first, you can be guaranteed that fed into the way WotC did the orcs in D&D. Guaranteed. because it's the same exact bullshit. Both of them. It's the same exact bullshit.
That's what orcs are now.
They're a smiling family of nomads, they said Timothy Linward. D&D is not a game about creating intercultural harmony in a multiracial community. The rules still center on violence, exploration, acquisition, and growth through adventure. Making orcs more than mindless antagonists in a world that requires henchmen and goons simply passes the buck to someone else. Hobgoblins, bugbears, giants, or whatever. Yeah, but what they'll do is they'll turn them into friendly.
Yeah, well, I feel that they represent this other group. Some racist idiot will say that they're representative of another group that no one else sees but them. And then if you don't agree with them, you're the racist. And then we'll have other things changed.
I love this. This is one of the comments. In other news,
God,
Frankenstein's monster has been banned as he risks being confused with adults with learning disabilities, and King Kong is being remade so that instead of being shot at and made to fall from the Empire State Building in the name of diversity, the people of New York have to learn to live with him and put up with the fact that he destroys cars and eats a few people every day. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. It's...
Tolkien's orcs are unambiguously evil, and they are not a species. Their appearance is caused by the malignant effects of evil wrought on anyone who comes to it, of the race, species. I don't know if D&D is a different origin, but that's how Tolkien imagined them. Wow. Here we go. These characters sound too much like they were invented by white people. Right there. Dead on the fucking money. This is white savior complex. The RPG. This person nailed it down. Dungeons and Dragons has become white savior complex, the role-playing game. Which is why no one is playing it.
Ridiculous.
I love that. Did you read the last part? And then for good measure, the Empire State Building has been renamed the Welfare State Building and is painted in rainbow colors.
Didn't they put a rainbow projection on it before?
Oh, they put lots of projections on it.
John Miller, thank God chess is too complex for these morons to actually even think about it. Wow. Yeah, it's now they're laughing at you. Now they're laughing at you. And people might buy the player's handbook just to see how ridiculous it is. But yeah, the D&D I knew came from TSR. It ended decades ago, but you can still play those old books. You don't need to buy the new stuff. We're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah. I know you
Please
guys
subscribe
do,
for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Wow. Okay, I did not expect to go on a rant for that long about this, but goddamn. I mean, if this is not clear, that, like, it should be clear now. WotC destroys everything. Okay? WotC and the white savior complex is literally destroying everything that we as a society enjoy. And not for any good reason either. Don't forget, this is not for any good reason. This is a white savior complex. This is a perpetual victimhood that is driving this train that's on a collision course with a mountain of TNT. Because when the DEI bullshit comes down, it's going to come down hard. This has been built up so huge that when the party is finally over, a lot of people are going to be stuck with a check that they can't cash out.